Hey everybody, this is Pixis Designs. It has been a few or more months that I have posted anything, and I am sorry. Just been busy with life and other stuff, and really haven't had a whole lot of chances to put anything new up. I think the last video that I had was actually for my catwalk system. I had a couple of people respond back saying you should probably do a more in-depth review on the catwalk, but I kind of felt like it was a little more, well, it was self-explanatory. So I do have a lot of different components for the catwalk system that are currently in my shop right now. It just takes up so much room in the shop that it's really hard to show everything that's a part of it, especially when you try to do a huge dio. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about a towable flak. I've been wanting to do this for a while because, you know, the actual flak, the actual flak has, you know, the whole 3-foot setup. But you've always had to wonder how it gets to its destination. You know, some could say you can hook it up to a helicopter and put it that way, but I've always wanted to do an actual towable flak, and this is what I came up with. So this will actually be going up in my shop as a separate listing versus my regular flak, because I don't want to mess up the statistics on it, because Etsy keeps track of how many, you know, total units you've sold of a certain item, and if I try to modify it too much with variations, then I can no longer keep track of that data. I know it's dumb, but yeah, so I've actually revamped the flak itself, specifically the base, specifically everything. So my original design that I made back like 4 years ago, it was, I made it to fit Gung Ho, which, as most of you know, in the that's collecting G.I. Joe, it's one of the larger figures. And the problem is it really oversizes the whatever it's fitting if you use the largest figures. So when you start going to medium and smaller figures, they look really out of scale. So I went back and reduced the size of the flak about 10 to 15%, probably about 12.5%, I think it's somewhere around there, to reduce the size of it. Not only helps in just making it look better for your smaller to medium-sized Joes like Grunt, because that's who most people will be using to sit on the flak. You're going to want your Joes that are the red shirts. But it also reduced the size to make it look better as a towable option for the Vamp, or Stinger if you chose to do a different color variation of the flak. So, you know, obviously size matters. So when you're talking about, you know, just the way it, the overall looks when it's wheeled up, the original flak probably would have came out to here, and you see how much wider it would be than the Vamp. So I pretty much kept the base. I wanted to keep it a smaller platform, and I've seen a few comments like, why don't you make it like a 2-wheel platform, double tandem axle, to make the base more, and that's not what I really want to do. I want to still keep it a small footprint, because, you know, we still need to be able to display this on our shelves. And if you try to make this, you know, platform too big, like a tandem axle trailer or whatever, you're getting away from what made the flak kind of cool, was the fact that it does have a smaller footprint. This size, you know, withstanding, but I just wanted to keep it small, deployable, and still make it look pretty cool in the same time. So this is the design that I came up with. Let me set this down real quick and see if I can't keep an eye on what's going on. So, come on. There we go. Okay, so funny enough, and this is going to be the second part of the video, in order to make this, I actually had to make my own wheels and tires. And several, and I'm always, talking about comments and stuff like that. I'm talking about my Facebook Pixis Designs page. I get a lot of feedback from people there. So in the middle of redesigning most of the stuff on here and updating, and knowing that I needed to make wheels and tires, several had made the comment, why don't I make the wheels and tires also available for the Vamp? So that'll be the back half of this video to show you that I may have went a little bit too far in taking it to taking it to heart about doing different wheels and tire styles for the Vamp Stinger platform. But the original intention was to actually make it for the Flak. But I just kind of went ham with it. So this is the trailer portion. Of course, again, it's a smaller platform. These do swing out, or actually, sorry, this thing still rotates as usual. This thing can be deployed, so you swing these out. It actually has a locking position for the jack stands. I'm hoping I'm keeping this in frame. So you lock. Make sure I'm going the right way here. So there's a locking position for the jack stands. I just need to make sure that I get it locked like that. Like that. And just like the Whirlwind of old, tires and wheels flip down. Just like that. So now it makes a little more sense on, how it gets to where it needs to go. I'm going to ship this with two different styles of trailer tongues. This style that will fit my rear steps. Words are hard. The problem with the Vamp, I'm trying to step back here. This thing, Hasbro has that flip up tongue type that the trailer or the trailer hitch for this is lower than the trailer hitch for that. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they just didn't find a way to make it more universal. So this one is probably about the same height as the HISS tank. So that's why when I originally released my this here, you can actually just pull this piece out here and then rotate it upside down and put it into here, because that's about the height difference between the HISS tank and the Vamp. But unfortunately that does not work with this, because I can't flip this upside down, because I need this to be able to clear anybody who has purchased my rear steps. So basically it comes down to I was going to have ship this with two different tongues, one to not only fit, or one to fit the Awe Striker, and one to fit the Vamp, and not only the Vamp, but the Vamp with my steps attached. So that is that. I do not, if you have purchased any of my lifts, or actually I really only have one lift kit. If you've purchased my lift kit, this will not work with my lift kit attached, because if you purchase my lift kit, then that means you've also purchased taller tires. The equivalent would be like, 37 or 44 inch tires. I know who you are, because I also have a set of those same tires, and you know how much bigger those things are. So I can't equate for everybody's different wheel and tire choices out there. So this hitch style is basically only for stock ride height Vamps and Stingers. Okay, so yes, there's that. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of basically it. Reduce the Flak size down about 12.5%, 13%. I've done some just, you know, really small different design cues on here. I've actually added a targeting screen onto it. And if you look, I've actually got like a, here, I've got like, you know, an emergency stop button, a confirmation button, some gauge dials and stuff like that on there too. So, and of course, you know, I still have my awesome ratcheting that I've been, that I designed into my Flak as well. So it holds position. And that's about it. I will be throwing this in my shop. I do not have a price point yet, but I will be throwing this up in my shop. Hopefully, I want to get some pictures today, so maybe I can get it up Sunday. I know for those, I'm so bad about making YouTube videos and saying when I'm going to put stuff in my shop and that I don't do it. So just here, I'll say this. It'll be up in my shop soon. And I don't know the price point. Right now, my current Flak sells for $9.95, $90. I don't know how much I sell my Flak for. Let me see real quick. Listings. Right now it's sold out because I want to get updated. And of course my computer is not working right now. Let's see. Expired. Okay, so I've got my Flak in my shop for about $85. So the trailer attachment, my best guess, it is a lot more to print. It'll probably be jumping up to maybe 120, somewhere around there for all the new lower stuff. I'll crunch those numbers for everybody. Okay, so there is that. Now let me get this thing out of the way. I've been meaning to get this Flak up for a while, and I got sidetracked by the whole wheels and tires thing. But now I'm back on track. So, the wheels and tires. I know, very late to the game, especially since I think Gridiron probably released theirs maybe 2 or 3 weeks after the Vamp release. I don't know, I can't remember. After everybody got them at least. So let me pull some of these styles down and show you what I have. And I'm completely out of frame, but it's okay. I'm fixing to show everybody. Let's see. I know I got more than that. Some of these out of the way. I'm probably going to edit this video. We'll see. Okay. So, in the midst of doing wheel and tire designs, get everything in frame here. I started with more of a mud terrain tire, and I've always had a likeness for Black Rhino rims. So that is basically what most of these are based off of. So as I was designing them, I want you to understand the thought process and the design process and then the printing process. So I think, and I doubt anybody from Gridiron will actually chime in, but I know a few others that actually make wheels and tires. They print all this at one time. It's probably easier. But if you try to use like a finer nozzle tip, you're probably going to end up spending almost 15 to 20 hours on a wheel. Because on printing you can have what's called a 0.2 millimeter nozzle and a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. And a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, you can do things a lot faster, obviously, but you also lose a little bit less. You get a little bit less detail. But I wanted high detail inside of my my rims. So after I realized that I wasn't getting the detail that I was wanting, because I didn't see anybody really wanted to go out of the way to purchase any rims if the detail wasn't there, that they couldn't really see the coolness factor of it. So after I saw how long it took to print, I broke it down into a tire, which I can do in the 0.4mm nozzle and whip these things out. The main hub, which is the spinny bit. Actually, this was attached to this for the second version. I've already tossed the second version away, but I realized that I was spending so much time printing all this with a smaller nozzle that this was needless. I didn't need to print all this with a 0.2. I can print this with a 0.4, and then print all the detail into here, right? So this is with a 0.4. These both print at the same time on a build plate, and this is where I spend all my time printing. So if you look over here, I have outfitted my H2S with a 0.2mm nozzle so that I can do multiples and multiples of rims at the same time. There's just a little bit of stringing on there, but it's no big deal. So, you know, for those that own multi-color printers, multi-material, actually this is not a multi-material printer, this is a multicolor printer. You always get a better investment when you do more parts on a build plate at one time. That way, you know, you don't have as much poop. So that's what I'm doing with this, because that print right there probably takes about 29 hours to print all of those. So, just the wheel faces, right? So it takes a little bit of time. Now, here's the fun part, that whenever I brought this up to my Pixis people about the question of there's a hidden gem with this design that some may not know about. If they choose to want it, I will be happy to start selling it this way. And that is, you know, so you can buy your wheels, and you can actually purchase just the rim style to go into the rim, and then install the hub, and then just do it that way. Especially for those people that like to take photography, and they want to have a different rim style, they can do that. You can have, instead of having multiple different tires lying around, you can just have one set of tires and have multiple sets of rims, you know. So that's the thought process behind that. The only caveat to all that, and this is what I am letting people know that purchase these, is that the fact that these don't lock, this doesn't lock in as good as what you would, it's firm. But when you go to remove these tires off the hubs, the actual hub is going to want to stay on more than what the full thing is, because the hubs are pretty, I don't know if you can see this because I'm far away, but this part will end up staying locked into the vamp, and this will go with it. So what I'm trying to say is to a bunch of 40 and 50-year-old dudes is that if you actually want to play with your vamp, you always have the option of fusing all these parts together with glue, and that way you have a firm wheel and tire setup on your vehicle if you want to. But for those of us that just display shit on their shelf, put stuff on and then put it on their shelf, I would not recommend it, because then you can always upgrade to a different wheel type and change them out to something else. So I don't know if that's coming across very well. Having everybody get on board, I mean, I probably had a good solid 20 or 30 comments saying that, yes, keep it this way, because if they do want to purchase different rim styles, they would love to be able to do that, not have to buy a whole new tire. So that's the way I am keeping it. And it makes sense, because, you know, again, we only have so much in the way of storage. Okay, so again, most of my wheel designs are coming from Black Rhino, just looking at their webpage and just seeing their styles and thinking, oh, that's cool, I want to do that one. For those familiar with Black Rhino, they're a pretty, I don't even know that it's American based, but this between their Barricade, their Sentinel design, and I think their Carbine design, they're really just good looking rims. And this is in bronze. And this one here actually is, let me see if I have another one lying around. Okay. And this one here is actually based off of the original Lamborghini LM002. So for those of you who are wondering, you might want to Google that real quick and see that the Vamp was based off of the Lamborghini LM002. So it's more of a 80s military type design, and that's why, as far as the Flak goes, I will be shipping the Flak with an olive version of the LM002 style rim. And these are AT style tires. For those that are curious, this right here, let me find it real quick. This right here is a stock wheel, right? This right here is the MT tire, right? So my tire is a little bit wider, maybe about 1/8 of an inch. But the bigger thing is it pokes out a little bit more, because I think whenever you install this tire, it's more underneath the fender flare. Sorry, my mouth is dry. And this one pokes out a little bit more, so there's that. And then compared to the AT tire, it is much shorter, but still wider. So it's probably about a little over 1/8 of an inch shorter. So when I compare this to this, you can definitely see the size difference between the MT and the AT. They're both about the same width, though. I have to keep them the same width because I need to make sure they fit the hub and the rim. So, so there is that question. As far as these things coming off, you obviously just saw me struggle with it a little bit. They do pop off as long as you get the whole 2-finger death grip out there. You can actually get the wheel hub and the tire all at the same time. And things will probably fall off in the process, because that's usually what happens. Okay. So here is the, I believe this is the Carbine. And I didn't bring the other two down. Yeah, everybody, I did not realize I was going to be getting into the tire and wheel business. I was just going to leave that up to Gridiron and whoever else was getting involved. I think Red Atlas or somebody else does wheels and tires. Was not really going to be my forte until I actually had to do it for my Flak. So, of course, when I'm going to do it, I'm going to try and do it better than everybody else. And I've actually got two different styles here. That's funny. So one of these are the Carbine, and one of these are the Sentinel. And without me having to look at my website, I can't tell you which ones they are. So there's that one. So you see how easy it is to pop off. Now, of course, there's going to be the question, what does it look like on the Stinger? Well, let me show you. Here's what they look like on the Stinger. And again, I've already got all these wheels and tire styles up on my Etsy page right now. Okay, let me put you back. I don't know why you came off. And it's really hard to do with one hand, apparently. There we go. So yeah, it was just a something else to add to my shop. I think I have maybe 80 different items in my shop now, because, you know, I always need more. Oh, and I also have an Arctic version that I'm going to be tossing up, since people are all in the mood for Arctic. Again, people, this thing's still for sale. This right here. My Arctic Demon with the spoiler. Offer me a price. Reach out to me either via Pixis Designs on Facebook or Pixis Designs on Etsy. I'll toss all my links up into this video. Make me an offer and we'll figure something out. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. I think that's really all I have for this video. Again, sorry for not really saying anything for a while. Most of you that probably did subscribe to me are probably now unsubscribed. I'm sorry. Just, you know, life gets in the way. It happens. I'm not going to say I'm back fully, because I'm trying to take a little bit more easier with my shop stuff. Getting away from big vehicles. This will probably be the last thing that I make that's big. Just don't have the shop space for it, and with shipping and all that involved, I only ship on Fridays now. I don't ship during the week, because I actually have Fridays off at work. So it gives me a little more time, and without mainly focusing on smaller items, I can print what I need to during the week and then just ship it out on Friday, and, you know, actually live an actual life. Versus the last couple of years of doing this, where I spent, you know, every waking hour down here in the shop doing stuff and shipping stuff out. So as you can tell, it's still a little bit of a mess. These seem to have a new resurgence again. People have been buying up a lot of swamp fires, so I'm still steadily making swamp fires. I don't know if I ever showed everybody the new style laser weapon that I have for that. More based off of the original swamp fire. Because I used to have like a twin gat setup, but I finally went in there and designed up the more something OG. And I'm not going to lie, it looks pretty good. So, but really that's kind of all that I have to show off. These items will be going up in my shop soon. I'm not going to give a date. Probably not going to give a cost either. Well, so the tires and wheels are already up in my shop. It's the flaks that I'm talking about. Those will be going up in my shop soon. But that was really it. This is Pixis Designs signing out.